Let's just hope for the best. Well, there's always that little delay where you're just like, is it working? I think it's working, but I'm not sure. So we'll just proceed as if it is. Yeah, I think we're good, dude. Right. Okay. Welcome to this impromptu Chebs, but surprise Chebs is not a bad Chebs.
No, sometimes they're the best Chebs.
Sometimes, yeah, it can be the very best Chebs.
They are fleeting, but they improve your life very briefly.
GW have responded to the, well, I think you can only really put it as outrage, really, and quite justified, because people thought their armies were completely wrecked.
Yeah.
They've come back.
Wrecked, not erect.
No. They've come back with a list of the stuff that's going to be in the legacies that, you know, they feel was going to solve the problem, and effectively that is your response. It's been a bit later than I thought it would be, and a bit later than I wanted it to be, but these things do have to often get approved by higher above, and
it's a lot of stuff.
I get the feeling they might have added to the PDF a little bit. There's a couple of very specific things there that I'm like, So we'll see. We're going to go through it. We are going to go through it and have a look and just see exactly what they've done, because, you know, they've addressed it. We have to give them credit for that. And also they did say that stuff was going to legacies. It was, you know, hidden away in one of their previous articles that they did. But I think it was just a shock to people to suddenly, you know, get those leaks in the Liber and then be like, oh Christ, half my army doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, I mean, people love to get outraged online, especially when it's Games Workshop. We're not immune to that either.
No, not at all.
But, you know, I've been going through like the Space Marine book today, adding stuff into our group's Battle Scribe, and there's actually a lot more detachments available to people than I expected, because I was unfamiliar with the standard Marine ones. I've looked at Angels, and they've got like another 4 or 5, maybe 6 detachments there. I think it's actually 6, one for each of their wings, that allows you to bring along more stuff. And then on top of that, you've also got generalist Marine ones as well in the Astartes book. So there's quite a lot of ways to bring stuff, but we're not going to get into that now because this is supposed to be.
No, we're just going to look at the Legacies PDF, because, you know, they have addressed it, and the fact that they are specifically mentioning certain units makes it quite clear that this is in response to what has been said, because, you know, they mention Terminators, Tartarus Terminators with power fists and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Destroyers with jump packs and so on and so forth. So, I mean, what this does do is this makes it quite clear that, you know, our initial estimate, basically, that this stuff will be returning in journals and sold to you as DLC is spot on, pretty much. So let's have a look.
Although to the Games Workshop's credit, this is free, so you're not paying to get these units back.
No, Legacy PDF is free, but they've also said that when they get round to redoing it, this is all going to be removed. And I do see GW just removing them from the Legacies PDF. Obviously, if you download the damn thing, it won't matter. But, you know, if you go to pick it up, it'll be just like the app, where the app has all the new stuff until that codex comes out. And then you then have to get it's locked behind a paywall. So I think it'll be like that. But yeah, the new edition of Warhammer, the Horus Heresy, lands in stores in just a few days' time, and we haven't sold as many as we would like. We know loads of you are excited to get stuck into the game and to get your new, you know, Saturn Iron units in the battlefield, standard stuff. We've also noticed that some of you are concerned, slight understatement there, that certain units in your existing armies might not be usable.
It's like we've not been dragged, our eyeballs haven't been dragged to this by our ears to look at all this outrage online. We've noticed.
Especially if they don't feature in the Liber book for that faction. Hopefully this article will reassure you that those Tartarus Terminators with power fists, oh, that's oddly specific, Destroyers with jump packs, that's oddly specific, and lovingly converted White Scar champions on bikes, you armies coming back, won't be resigned to a life on the shelf. And then there's like some pictures of Destroyers, and they're like, they're coming, this is all good, it's all good, please order Saturn.
It was deliberate.
So yeah, there's a certain amount of firefighting here and a certain amount of damage control, but we did know that the PDF was coming. You know, that is legitimately, you know, something that we did know was going to be a thing. So, you know, from that perspective, I think you've got to give them some credit, but I don't think they've handled it well at all. GW, unfortunately, quite often don't handle things well at all. So let's have a look. So
what they should have done was they should have gotten this out ahead of all of the previews of the stuff on Saturday.
Yep, absolutely.
That would have headed on a lot of this drama off at the pass.
Yep.
And just saved them a lot of ag.
All of this should have been addressed before the damn thing went on pre-order. And then their pre-orders, I've not had a look today, but I assume everything is still very much available. And I imagine they've also possibly had quite a bit of pushback from third-party retailers that are like, you are fucking this up for us. You've made us buy hundreds of copies of this stuff, and it's sitting there because people don't want it because you've messed up the launch. So there's be a certain amount of that as well, that their corporate customers, not just their end customers, may well be quite unhappy. So the upcoming Legacies of the Age of Darkness PDF is a huge document which will allow you to continue to use the vast majority of miniatures you've amassed over the last decade of collecting. Always got to have that little proviso there. Not everything, just the vast majority. Alongside the digital support for the likes of Talons of the Emperor, Imperial Army and Runestorm Demons. Poor Runestorm Demons, they had to wait 18 months in the last edition. They've only got to wait a couple of months this time round. So, players with existing Horus Heresy collections will be able to keep fielding older miniatures in their games. This PDF is set to drop shortly after the release of the Saturnine box set, basically on the same day, later that day, and it will cover a wide swathe of the more exotic and specialised units in the Age of Darkness.
Not sure exotic specialised really applies to some of these, but
to some of these, no, they're pretty bread and butter, aren't they? And as I say, I do get the feeling that this PDF has. Obviously, we know it's always existed. They said that it's always been there, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's been expanded and they're like, look, we need to do a bit more to this,
tweak somewhat
to fully offset the rage of of the gamer. So yeah, I mean, they say here the Armless and the Liber books are a reflection of the current range of miniatures. They are written to reflect the content of boxed units, so that new players can build armies without the feeling, the need to buy multiple kits to make one unit. That's half the fun. The boxes themselves are also designed to
funny. What? Like the fucking Forge World stuff comes in a box.
Yeah, technically. I'm not sure. Yeah, true. Yeah, good point. Take that, James Workshop. Matt's got you. The boxes themselves are also designed to represent the most typical war gear loadouts those units would have. So basically what they're saying is, if we don't sell it in the box, if the character hasn't got it or the model hasn't got it, tough shit, it's not in the Liber. It may well be down to Chapter House. I don't know. They didn't do it in the second edition, but now that the Horus Heresy is a core game and they're looking at it in a much more serious way, I kind of get the feeling the second edition was kind of like, specialist games were like, look, we really want to do this. We really think this is going to make money. And GW, the powers that be, were like, yeah, whatever. Just, go do it. Here's your budget. Go do it. Make it good. And then they were like, oh, shit, this really sells. And now we're going to apply our rules to it, as it were.
What do you mean we've got to fucking make a load of new stuff? Shit.
Yeah. So, it's basically the same as 40k. If it ain't in the model and ain't in the model kit, you don't get to have it in the Liber book, which sucks. But, there you go. I love the way they say here, it also means these rule books can be compact enough to transport to your games. Dude, it's like a 368-page rule book plus a 300-odd page bloody Liber. Calm down. And then obviously all your journals on top. Jeez. Anyway, however, Warhammer the Horus Heresy Age of Darkness is designed as a game where Legacy can live. There you go. I feel like they almost want to put a trademark on the end of that,
Yeah.
And we fully intend for players with existing armies to use these Legacy units in their games, including in competitive play. These are no less official than those units with rules in the Liber books, except that they won't be updated, and next edition they're probably out the door. But credit's due, they are including them. Can I use them in a tournament? As always, that's up to the organiser. However, we certainly plan to allow Legacy units and rules and units at the official Warhammer the Horus Heresy campaign events. Obviously, we've not seen this PDF We have not. We're about to see the contents, more or less, but we have not seen the PDF. We don't know how well this stuff is balanced. We don't know if it's pointed at a premium, which it was in the past. It'd be like, yeah, you can use this legacy unit, but you would never want to because it's more expensive than the stuff that we want to actually sell that you've not bought yet. But
it's a concern.
We'll wait and see. But they do say, this is designed as a narrative war game above all else, which is good. If you're looking to create an optimized cutthroat, all-conquering, unbeatable army, all power to you. An epic win at all costs throwdown can be a lot of fun. Yeah, it can be. But it's not the main focus of the rules for this game. Yeah, fair enough. I'm fine with that. So then they say, I don't want to read the entire thing, but is everything covered in Legacies PDF? No, not quite. Basically, if it's a character that never had a model, they're gone. So, Night Lords, I think you're shit out of luck because you've got Sevatar, and I think that's it.
In your face, Carl.
But yeah, basically, Sons of Horus make out like bitches because they got loads of named characters in the last edition. Everybody else.
To be fair, my Dark Angels are doing fine as well because we've got most of ours in resin.
You got a few, yeah, exactly. I mean, the Ultramarines have got a few, not loads.
Who?
But, they've got Aniad Feel, he's in there.
Never heard of these Ultramarines.
Ultramarines. It's only the biggest legion. And, by the time the Heresy was left, because we hadn't been completely fucked over at S5, just a minor disagreement with some word bearers and world eaters.
Yeah, just a minor hiccup in Cal.
Hey, I really, and I mean this, I genuinely like what they did with the Ultramarines in the Horus Heresy lore, because originally it was just kind of like they were too far away. Yeah. Like Horus sent them too far away, and I was like, that's a bit crap. Let's do something a bit more interesting. So they did.
Dark Angels got that instead.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. So yeah, basically, if it's a character that's never got a model, then they're gone. They do say though that because they were initially just a variant of a captain or centurion or praetor or whatever, praetor, then you can use them mirroring those rules with the appropriate weapons. It's not brilliant, it's not going to add flavor or special rules or anything like that, but you can still use them technically. And they also say that there were a very small amount of units that once existed in the rules but were never on sale, like the Arl attacks for the Mechanicum.
I ain't falling for it.
Which are no longer part of the game at all, so they're completely gone. This might be because a new incarnation of that unit has replaced them, or because we plan to revisit them at some point. Plastic Arl attacks are coming, Matt. Even in these instances, this is a close approximation. So, it is damage control to a certain extent, but they were always going to do the Legacy PDF. We have to accept that. But this has taken too long. They needed to get this out before the pre-orders.
They kind of did.
GW aren't fast. Again, these things have to be approved by up above, especially when it's something that's going to be gamer and community facing. But it is nice to see, that it's in there. But I'm sorry, I'm not buying that Tartarus Terminator Siege Squad was already there. I'm just not buying it. I just get a feeling, maybe some of the other stuff, but I don't, Tartarus Terminator Siege Squad, what the hell's that? Why are they a Siege Squad? Because they got power fists. That's stupid. But as you can see, that a lot of the stuff is here. Land Raiders that they don't do in plastic, they're the old Cestus Assault Ram, that's there. Your Scout Squads, Medusas. Some of this, I dare say, you are going to get in plastic or maybe new resin models. Some of it, I think, will just should not happen. They always want to sell the new stuff. But yeah, losing like the Mortificator and Digalatus and stuff like that, and it's just a little bit of a flavour loss. And I was watching Heresy Hammer last night, did a good video, going through the different legions and stuff. And it looks like in general, a lot of the legions have just lost a lot of flavour, which GW are going to sell back to you via journals. So there will almost certainly be a Betrayal at Calf journal, which will then put the Ultramarines back in and some of the word bearers and stuff. And if they stretch that out into 2, the same as they have with Isfahan, then you might need to buy multiple books to be able to use a legion, which I don't agree with. I think it should all be there. It does feel kind of DLC EA-ish, where they've taken out stuff that was in the core game and are now going to sell it back to you. That I'm not super keen with. What I would have liked to have seen from a personal perspective, and the annoying thing is I did do a video about all this earlier, but then Matt was like, hey, do you want to do a Chebs? And I was like, yeah, fine, whatever. So that video probably won't get released now. But what I would like to have seen is it's fine doing these journals, and I like these journals, and I think they're a good idea to flesh out the bits of the heresy that you don't necessarily have time for in the rule book. But what I would have liked to have seen, I feel, is that they were alternate versions of what's already in the rule book. So it'd be like, here is a type of unit that was needed to be used in this war, that's something extra, not something. I just don't agree with you having to buy your core units back. And I know they're going to be available online and 7Cs and PDF and all that kind of stuff, but it does feel a teeny bit cynical to me. So we've got a few comments. I'm sorry, I haven't seen them. Mike Hawk, all they did with that is mail 1,000 other chapter houses and make 1,000 other chapter houses and eat Etsy. Yes, and I do think this is part of the reason. One of our commenters said this in the previous video that I did, that this could well be in response to 3D designers, because they've been filling in the gaps that GW have left in second edition. And again, second edition, I kind of get the feeling Specialist Games Division were left alone devices a bit more. This time I get a feeling that Daddy GW is a bit more, we're going to be in charge of this. And that may well mean it. So I lost over 100 Viridian Shallows. Ouch. Horrific. Still no Velataris with rotor cannons. Yeah, I mean, I get a feeling that this PDF, although it's always existed, I just feel like this has been added to, or at the very least modified. The Optics GW have been doing the promotional work for this edition has been a shambles. I agree, Markside, 100%. It's this has taken too long. We're now Wednesday. We're now 5 days since the pre-orders went up. You've done damage.
They should have got ahead of it rather than behind it, to use modern speak.
They've been taking note from their revelation with a creative assembly. Yeah. It's not good. It's not good, And there were loads of people who look like, it's all cope, it's all coming and stuff like that. That doesn't change the way that GW have handled it. GW have underestimated the type of gamers that they have for the Horus Heresy. There's going to be some crossover, but for the most part, you have the most dedicated, who spend so much time on their models, making sure everything's right, making sure, all the options and all the characters and everything. There's such a rich world to do, the modelling with. And I think they've underestimated that they really needed to handle this a bit more with kid gloves and not have this all come out through leaks. It's very naive of GW to do so, in my opinion. I certainly, if I worked there, and let's face it, I never will. Well, not again anyway.
Not now.
Yeah, no chance. Not now. Like, you're that grumpy grog-like gamer guy. Get out. I'd be surprised if my name's not up, my picture's not up behind the wall at Warhammer World. I can go and find out. I only live 10 minutes away.
No Rasputin.
But yeah. So I feel like they have mismanaged it completely. But as you can see, the Dark Angels. I mean, Matt, Dark Angels, your babies. Is this filling in a lot of the gaps that you were missing with? Or I know the Raven Wing and everything was an issue and what have you. But
no, I'm cool. Like I really enjoyed having plasma repeaters on my guys because little black snowflakes. So for the Dark Angels one, it's got at the bottom there additional Legion armory options.
Yes, and that's something that, again, I get the feeling that it may have originally been there. That's something they may have been feverishly adding to. Like, look, we need to make sure this is right. They were originally going to maybe reduce your options and stuff like that. And, I don't know this. I do not have inside workings. It's just... I think that if this wasn't the case, they could have got this out earlier. I think there's been some frantic running around internally at GW to get
stuff.
To get
done. There's been some people at Specialist Games just cackling their ass off that they've put this out. They're just like, I fucking told them and they didn't fucking listen.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. As I say, Specialist Games, I do have faith in them. I do think that this time round, as I said in my video, I think the Horus Heresy is the victim of its own success. It's apparently the second most popular system, which don't surprise me because it's well known that GW's main seller is Space Marines, and this game is 80% Space Marines. So it makes sense. So I think that, unfortunately, as I say, previously, the Eye of Sauron has fallen upon the Horus Heresy, and that's caused many of the problems we've got here. So the White Scars don't seem to have a lot of stuff back in, but I don't know how much flavour they had.
Yeah.
Like the Blood Angels, I know the Blood Angels absolutely got butchered, apparently. I don't know if that solves your Blood Angel problems. Let me know. It doesn't look like a lot to me. Like the Night Lords, they literally get one thing back and additional Legion armory options. But then,
But then I suspect that this is like a mix of stuff that Games Workshop said, you know what, we're going to put this in later books, and people went, you can't really fuck people over like that. You need to stick more stuff in this. And I think that's probably where armory options and stuff come from, because what the fuck do they care if they put like plasma repeaters in a PDF and then once again put them in a book further down the line? Like, you know, people have already kit bashed the models, so they're not fussed.
And it's weird as well, isn't it? Because look at the Blood Angels. It's Offenham Court jump packs, Elastus support squad. No additional Legion armory options.
No. I
mean, same with the World Eaters. Red Hand Destroyer Mortalis squad, Red Hand Destroyer Assault squad. No additional same with the Ultramarines.
I'm not over familiar with them, so I don't know what's actually missing and what isn't.
Well, the Ultramarines, this handles most of it. As I said, there'll be, you know, stuff that we're going to lose, unfortunately. But for example, like
the Cyclone Terminators, aren't they?
They are, yeah. They're the ones for the missile launchers. But I don't think this solves all of it. I think this is just
definitely not. I mean, there's still stuff that they've kept behind to put into books. And I suspect they're going to do it like Legions Imperialis, so they'll actually have plastic kits waiting to go with some of the books that they'll do.
For some of it, I mean, some of this is going to be resin, I imagine. There's no way they can do all this in plastic. They just don't. They don't have the time. They don't. You'll definitely get some, but they've already said in an article that they don't have enough releases to even do Horus Heresy Thursday going forward.
I mean, I don't blame them. I mean, I've said before, I don't know any other company that makes their own shit in-house that puts out as much new stuff as Games Workshop does. It's fucking insane.
It is insane, especially seeing as they make it as well, the vast majority of it, apart from obviously books and stuff that are printed in China and shipped over. But at the same time, I don't like the fact that they're removing all these options because they want to sell the new stuff when the new stuff isn't here yet.
No.
That's, you know, I kind of get it. I kind of get you want to sell your new models, but you've got these people that have, you know, the Horus Heresy has been like over a decade, and they've spent so long doing these armies, and then just to not be able to use it, and you know, it is.
Like I said, they should have got ahead of this, and then most of this bullshit would have been completely avoided. Well,
I think so, yeah. And you know, I'm surely like. I mean, they must do some form of playtesting now, and surely the playtesters have gone like, dude, like half the army's missing. Do you know what I mean? Like, the community is there to feed back on, and contrary to popular belief, the community is not just a bunch of baying children. Do you know what I mean? These are actual, you know, hobbyists who know how to fix things, and GW unfortunately don't really get the benefit of the doubt anymore, especially after 10th edition with the Eldar that was so broken on release that they deleted an entire Knight army and a half, taking barely any casualties. Like, I watched a battle report, I think it was one of Liam Dempsey's, and the Eldar literally deleted nearly twice their amount of Knights because they were that broken, and GW just, you know, they don't deserve the benefit of the doubt anymore, I'm afraid. They've released too many crap editions for 40k, and I don't want to see the same happen to the Heresy, because the Heresy is meant to be that safe space. I don't like that term, but a sanctuary, a sanctuary for the older type of gamer, you know, the more historically inclined gamer, you know, because this is a historical war game. This is 10,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't like the whole, you know, Lady Custodies going into it. Do what you want with 40k. You've got reasons, you're carving your own narrative there. I don't have to like it, but I can leave it alone. Horus Heresy is there. I prefer the aesthetic of the Horus Heresy models. I prefer the background of the Horus Heresy because it's proper grimdark, and some really good lore work has been done with it, and some not quite so great lore work. I can do without all the bloody crying salamanders for a start. But it was meant to be something different, and it feels like it's slowly being kind of absorbed into the slop side of it, and I don't want that to happen. And hopefully they will learn their lesson, and you know, we won't know because we don't know what goes on at GW. But maybe there is a little bit of course correcting going on, and like, you know, we tried to get away with something and we couldn't, so kind of like when they released that Sonic trailer and Sonic had human eyes and everybody went, no. So they went and changed it and then it made all the money because those films were actually quite good,
Quite good.
But if you look, I mean, Raven Guard got Deliverers back. Thanks. Great. Thanks.
Alan.
What?
Democracy.
Democracy?
As in, wait.
As in I should use more democracy, or you're bored and you want to go and play Helldivers 2?
Yeah, that one. We'll do that.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll finish this off. We'll see if there's any more stuff coming through from the comments, because we do have responsibilities to our subscribers, Matthew, of which we have quite a few more. Although we've lost one. We've lost one in the last half hour. I know we upset somebody. I'm not going to start playing Want You Back by Westlife. One of them boy bands. I don't know. I generally don't know. But yeah, again, you've got your stuff coming back. Some of it, I just don't. This doesn't make GW like all right in my book, if you know what I mean. I don't think it can. It's improvement, yeah, and I credit them for what they've done. I do credit them for what they've done, and it looks like there's a lot of stuff in this PDF that's coming. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think this edition's been rolled out very well. For example, I don't expect to see destroyers until here, Zone Mortalis, where we will also probably get those nice plastic breaches.
I mean, to be fair, they're in the PDF.
No, I'm sorry, I mean the models.
Oh,
I think we'll probably get some breacher models and potentially some destroyer models as well. And then
they showed off. They showed off what was it? A Mark III assault marine. I mean, it's not entirely a stretch to bundle destroyers into there. I mean, admittedly, they've got slightly different armor and they need to do a whole lot of pistol opposite arms.
Yeah, you need to do loads of different alternate arm pistols. And I suppose some sculpted shoulder pads, but you don't need to. You could just use transfers. I think these ones up here, sorry for all the scrolling about, guys. I think these just use transfers. Yeah, it's just transfers, or probably even freehand, to be honest. So, but yeah, I don't know, man. It seems weird that, July, here's your stuff, but a lot of it you can't. This is just digital stuff. There's no reason why they couldn't just put this all out on the day.
On the pre-order day.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
it made a lot of sense. Or the day before, so that you don't have a load of people like us doing videos going, "What the fuck, you suck."
Then you could have your armies done in advance and get excited about what's coming. As it is, what you now have, GW, is have a load of people worried, and some people worried in this stream, that they can't use their armies, even with this Legacy PDF, which, as I say, has got Legion Armory options apparently coming back into it and stuff.
It looks like it will fix a lot of it.
I just think it's been a bit of a mess. I do think it's been a bit of a mess. I don't think it's been handled particularly well. Maybe GW will learn a lesson, maybe they won't. Maybe they don't care. I don't know.
I think the only place that they put in any real effort is the miniature design and the rule book. Everything else has just been kind of like, meh, whatever. It's just money. They're only customers. Who cares?
Yeah. Games last 4 turns. That's a weird one, that is.
It is very... we need to test that out a bit to see if
I think so. I mean, the battle reports that I've watched, it doesn't seem to tell a satisfying story. I think it's the only way I could really put it. For what's meant to be a very narrative war game, 4 turns just doesn't seem to quite have enough to it. But I've not played it myself yet. The rules are pretty damn word salady in the book as well. They really are.
Fortunately, yes, they have to be over specific to avoid the fucking TFGs, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. And then we end the article on the Legacies of our Age of Darkness PDF will land shortly after the release of the new edition. Please buy it on the 26th of July. Here's a link.
Well done.
But that's to be expected. That's to be expected. The terrain rules is really weird, and I also don't like the way you can wipe out an entire squad if you can see one guy.
That's bullshit. We'll house rule that out.
That just feels to me like you make one stupid mistake and leave like enough of a guy hanging out, and you're going to lose your squad. And I don't like that at all.
That's 40k bullshit, and we're not having it.
Yeah. I don't. That is a falsification. I got it right.
No, 40k. It's 40k bullshit.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, And as Andrew Patrick says, yeah, main problem for me is 250 books to pay less than 3 years after I spent. Yeah, it is ridiculous. And I will, I'll get a copy of the rulebook for this, definitely. But I don't buy codexes anymore. I don't buy books anymore. Mainly because they're out of date immediately, and I don't want to buy something that is, rendered completely bloody useless. Same as those army cards and stuff. Having all the books here at my disposal, has anyone compared the second edition rulebook to the third? Literally 100 pages are carbon copies of the second edition book with a white box instead of black. I mean, honestly, that wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, I wouldn't surprise me.
That's most of the law, because the rules are considerably differently worded.
Yeah.
I mean, that was shit.
I mean, there is additional stuff in the law that I noticed, a few more sort of departments that are described. And as my not at all controversial video says, they have taken out the bit where it says that only men have the physiology and biology, I think it was, to be Space Marines. That's gone. So, as Viridian Shadow says, paving the way to female Space Marines. You're not going to get it along the Custodes release. That's too early. Yeah, GW won't do that. But the way is paved. I think you will see female Custodes for sure. I don't like the fact they're in heresy. I don't like the fact that they gaslighted everybody and went, yeah, they've always been there 10,000 years. They've just never been mentioned. No. But then I don't like the way they did it in 40k. You could have done a whole narrative event around that and really made something. And they didn't even make one bloody model. They literally, Bustodes, they literally had a short story in a book and took out the words like brotherhood and stuff like that. And when people were like, oh, what's going on here? They were like, yeah, it's always been there. It's like, nope. But, as I've said, if you want your order of Custodes to just not take women, you can glorify that. Black Templars don't have librarians, for example. So, you could come up with some kind of reason.
Some of my Dark Angels, when they did, whenever the fuck it was that they did Blade Guard.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Have some Deathwing and Power Armor. And I was like, I know technically we used to have Deathwing and Power Armor, but my chapter doesn't. So, no, my Blade Guard are green.
That's the thing. I mean, at the end of the day, it's your hobby.
Angels, isn't it? Yeah, exactly.
And if you want to make female Space Marines in your army, then I'm like, yeah, more power to you. Fair enough. I mean, it's not something I do.
I didn't realise my army was so powerful was to disrupt your life.
Yeah,
maybe you should prove it and get a better one.
Yeah, I mean, I just, it's your hobby at the end of the day. And this goes for the Horus Heresy. Some people have been like, well, I'm going to do this little bit that hasn't been explored. Do you know what I mean? And I'm going to extrapolate it from what's in the books and do something else, and you've got the room to do that. I mean, hell, that's why GW bumped off 2 Primarchs to allow you to do, whatever the hell you want with them, basically. And there is stuff in the book to say that all the Primarchs were male, even the lost ones. So,
I mean, technically, they didn't bump off 2 Primarchs. They never existed in the first place.
No, but I mean, they left space,
Yeah. Final Frontier.
Don't like My Little Pony. Don't put those cards in your deck. Then get forced to play against it. Yeah, I mean, I draw the line at My Little Pony Marines because I find them really creepy. But honestly, if somebody had female Space Marines in their army, I don't think it would bother me too much.
Just enjoy beating them more.
Yeah, exactly. You get a bit more satisfaction out of it. As I say, I just don't want them added in the main lore because I think it will. I've done a whole video about it. It's a thing. You can go watch it.
A bit of a tangent now.
Oh my God, really is. Sorry, Kevin. We went live with like 10 minutes notice. Matt was like, fancy addressing all this PDF stuff? And I was like, yeah, all right, I suppose.
Yes, we'll spend half an hour talking about it and then play Helldivers 2.
Yes, we're going to go play Helldivers 2, Matt. Don't worry. Right, anyway, guys, there will be a comments. What?
Oh, the Saturnin sold out.
No way. Really?
Nah, not really.
I was going to say.
The rulebook did.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't understand the logic of putting the Mark II Marines up on the same day as Saturnine.
No.
I don't get that at all.
No.
Really, really weird. But yeah, that's about it really, guys. It's not that much. I don't want to sort of milk it too much. The PDF's out there. I don't think it's going to fix all the problems. I think there's been a bit of frantic running around at GW and it's a little bit of damage control that's come way too late. They could have mitigated all this bollocks if they were just smarter, in my opinion. But yeah, sound off in the comments. You know, it'll all be there. And we will catch you on Friday, hopefully, where we will be doing a live stream of the new preview. See what's there. Hopefully some of it will be good. And hopefully we will catch you guys there. See you later.
Cheerio.